Born into a wealthy merchant family from Meletis, Daxos' upbringing was atypical. His mother Lydia believed him to be both blind and mute, as Daxos spent his days sitting, unresponsive to his environment. One night, at the behest of a wise old woman, Lydia snuck out of the city with her son and traveled to the Sparelands to seek Athreos' temple. She believed the cause of his affliction to be that his soul, or eidolon, had been severed from him before birth, and she thought Athreos, the god of passage, could return it to him, and was prepared to pay the price. Within the Temple of Silence, Daxos became aggravated, so Lydia gave him her glass necklace of the asphodel flower. He uttered his first word by saying its name, and his voice echoed throughout the god realm. Daxos rose in an instant, his eyes became glassy orbs that reflected the night sky, and his voice became that of a countless multitude. Lydia quickly realized that her son was an oracle of the gods. Oracles on Theros are mortal vessels used by the gods to make their will known. The gods speak through them, see through them, and impart their orders to them. As such, the oracles can hear God speak and see the god realm clearly. Daxos was neither blind nor mute, just a child struggling to control his power. Erebos, god of the dead, heard Daxos' voice in the cave and longed for a vessel of his own. He sent Athreos to bring the boy to the underworld so that he might claim him. The voice of Karametra, god of the harvest, makes itself heard through Daxos. She tells Lydia that they are not safe. The Daxos sees the divine more clearly than any oracle before him. That Athreos, servant of the dead, is coming for him. The lord of the underworld desires this vessel. Erebos will try to claim your son. The pair try to leave the temple and escape to safety, but the crook of Athreos' staff snares Daxos. Lydia's maternal instincts kick in, and she quickly puts herself in his place, giving her life for his. The boy leaves the cave on the back of a Nyxborn sable sent by Karametra, and at the age of 7, is left alone to ponder the will of the gods. Roughly 10 years later, Daxos has risen through the ranks of the temple complex of Meletis to become a prominent oracle and warrior for Heliod, god of the sun. Although he can commune with all the gods, Daxos has built a close relationship with Heliod and chose to become his oracle. One day, while carrying out his chores, Heliod speaks to Daxos about a stranger that wields a divine sword spear, and tells him that it is her destiny to make it to the port city of Meletis and become the sun's champion. Before the stranger reaches the city gates, the massive hydra of legend, Pelukranos World Eater, who has recently stirred from his 10-year slumber, appears on the plateau outside Meletis. Pelukranos has a voracious appetite and is capable of razing the entire city, a city without many soldiers for defense. Daxos rides out with a contingent of warrior priests to confront the Hydra before thousands perish. To his surprise, a figure cloaked in white is already on the plateau. He recognizes her features from a moment 10 years ago, a moment right after he lost his mother. Without food or shelter, he stumbled upon a young girl who also had neither. That girl was Elspeth Tirel. Daxos knew the woman that stood before him was the little girl from 10 years prior, and that she was also the destined sun's champion. He vows to aid her, and he corrals the Hydra's heads while she cuts through them all with one swing from her sword spear. Pelukranos is no more, but Daxos' story continues. In the company of Elspeth, he hears word of a Minotaur attack on the city of Akros. The Minotaur army is thousands strong and filled with Nyxborn, creatures created from the god realm. They encircle the city and prepare for a long, brutal siege. Daxos and Elspeth journey to Akros, and he helps Queen Cymede call forth a flood to wash away the Minotaur army. That night, the king throws a massive banquet celebrating their victory, and in their tent, Elspeth and Daxos realize their feelings for each other. But these events have all been orchestrated by the Planewalker Xenagos in an attempt to rise to godhood. He uses the revel to fuel his ascension and requires only one more sacrifice. He sneaks into Elspeth's tent and gives her a vision, or rather a nightmare from her past. Believing herself to be trapped on Mirrodin with a Phyrexian obliterator, Elspeth swings wildly at the monster and impales it. Her vision clears in time to see Daxos' bloody figure on the floor. Instead of slaying the monster, she has just murdered her lover. Daxos, the Oracle of Meletis, is dead, but death on Theros is rarely a final destination. Elspeth Tirel journeys into Nyx to slay Xenagos and avenge Daxos' death, but to gain entry into the God Realm, she must pass one of their ordeals. She chooses Erebos' ordeal, and he tempts her with a vision of a perfect life, if only she gives up her quest. She doesn't fall for his trick, and passes the ordeal, which earns her a boon, a request that the gods must grant. After she slays Xenagos, she asks Erebos to switch places with her lover so that Daxos may once again walk among the living, and that she may finally find peace in death. The wish is realized, and Helland stabs Elspeth through the heart with her own Godsend. What happens to Daxos, however, is not quite what Elspeth had in mind. In the final page of the ebook Godsend Part 2, Nylia, god of the hunt, discovers his fate. Daxos paced endlessly along the riverbank. He paused at a certain spot near the rushing stream where the violets were in full bloom. A gold mask covered his face as he searched mindlessly for the thing he loved the most. Erebos was true to his word. He let Daxos walk the realm of the living, but not as a true mortal. Rather, Daxos has become a returned, a creature without identity or soul. As a return, Daxos brings with him a vague memory of his grief and torment, searching familiar places endlessly for the woman he loves. This twisted bargain is likely Erebos' resentful retribution against his brother Helland, for whom Daxos was a vessel, as Erebos loves nothing more than to cause his brother misery. Despite being a return, Daxos continues to demonstrate his power and abilities, which can be seen on his card's activated ability. Either these enchantment creatures represent Nyxborn that he has brought with him from the underworld, or potentially Eidolons, lost souls that he has tracked down in search of his own. No matter the case, Daxos has indeed been brought back from the underworld. An undisclosed time later, during the War of the Gods on Theros, the returned Daxos is confronted by his old patron deity and given a choice. Either remain a returned and spend eternity searching for all he has lost, or be rejoined with his Eidolon and reborn as Helland's champion. This decision is represented in the card Rise to Glory. Daxos is reborn as a demigod and the sun god's chosen champion on the condition that he obey the will of Helland completely. Helland uses Daxos as a warrior against the other gods of Theros, and he takes to the skies on his Pegasus to enact Helland's will. He attacks temples and shrines to the other gods and leads Helland's faithful in battle. During the climax of the Beyond Death story, Elspeth Tirel and her Shadow Spear have gathered a following of dead within the underworld, and she seeks to escape to the mortal realm. Helland himself confronts her, but is defeated and thrown into the underworld for eternity by his brother Erebos. What becomes of Daxos is up to speculation. As the Sun's chosen, he may have no choice but to continue to carry out Helland's plan, despite the god's defeat. If so, that would mean destroying Elspeth at the first opportunity. Or perhaps he has been freed from servitude and seeks out Elspeth to once again hold her in his loving embrace. Unfortunately, he won't have a chance to do either, for Elspeth has planeswalked away. This does lay the groundwork for a potential conflict or heartwarming reunion the next time we return to Theros. Thanks for watching the tragic tale of Daxos of Meletis. Leave a thumbs up if you like the video, and comment below on topics you'd like to hear in future videos. Don't forget to subscribe for weekly lore content. Links for the references I've used can be found in the description below. Until next time, go forth and explore the lore.